and support, please contact us at the hotline 311, psychosocial support at 722-6575 or 518-4157. Brought to you by PAHO, the OACS Commission, and UNICEF.
The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of UTV or its affiliates.
Welcome. This is the Revolution. We're on channel 124 on Flow. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitch. And of course, we're also on Facebook, as well as on YouTube at UTV 124. I did get a message from Crown Heights, Brooklyn today asking how they can get us on YouTube. So yes, UTV 124 for all of these platforms. And of course, we're on Hits Radio with our partners. They're down 92.1 in the north, 91.1 in the south. That's FM if you are on the road, on the move, or just like to get through with radio. Of course, Hits Radio is there to hook you up with Asylum and the crew. So yes, today is Tuesday, the 20th of April, 2021. And the one greeting, of course, that had to go out was the birthday greetings going out to Trisha Lionel, St. Lucia's very own. Right, daughter of the soil, and I have my cake, so if at certain points you see me getting a little bit of mustache with ice in there, that's because I'm fat and I'm greedy. What happened now? Let's see. Yes, folks, so where do we start today? Sadly, you know, in fact, not sadly. I listen to the other shows, obviously, and I'm a fan, in the same way that I'm a fan of Out Goes In, although I have heard Russell is no longer there. I'm also a fan of Zafenu in terms of Yadi and Jahim in the morning. And I did hear Nancy. Now, let me tell you something. Give Nancy her jacket, not jacket, his jacket. Shasney is a liar. I don't personally think Shasney is a good liar or great liar. I think he's a fabulous. I think he can convince himself. And in fact, maybe he's a good liar. Right? Guy Joseph is St. Lucia's best. Guy Joseph lies with righteous conviction and is quick. But you know who comes second to me? Nancy. Nancy's a fantastic liar. Nancy will bob and weave and she sounds sincere and convincing. She could sell sand to a desert, right? I mean, really, really good. But I listen to her go back and forth with Richard Frederick, and what I like is when she's absolutely dead caught, she just differs. Oh, I didn't hear. Oh, that wasn't thing. And you know what I heard today? I heard that the government that has applied for all these loans under the guise of COVID, she said that they changed it to budget support. Have you ever gone to a bank and tell them, hey, I want a loan for a vehicle, and yet you can take out of it and say, I'm going to buy a fridge instead, I'm going to buy a stereo? If you're going to go and take a finance loan for whatever, to buy furniture or whatever, you have to specify. And you can't change midstream. That's part one. Part two is the IMF, the literal most august international body that deals with money. Right? You telling me that you can just stay there and change the uses for what? And you change it for what's budget support? So the IMF now gives loans to support your budget. The IMF gives a damn about, oh, you need to build a road in Babuno, so you need to build a road in Plateau, so don't take the money for you to do the Victoria Hospital Respiratory Clinic and put in the oxygen. Don't put in the oxygen because Nancy and them say, we needed to make our budget look good. But you know what? I'll let Richard Frederick deal with that because he should have, and he's presented all of the same information before. It's up to you. In the meantime, I do want to give you not just a reminder, But I want you to understand why we are in the state that we are in. Not because of COVID, but because of COVID, corruption, and stupid.
Under COVID, they borrowed $557.3 million. Show them page 14 for me, please, of the economic review. Okay, can you scroll down so that they'll see the heading, please? And then we'll go back up. Scroll down, let's see the heading. Good. Income Support Program, box 4. This is page 14, folks, of the Social and Economic Review of 2019-2020. Good. Look, total payments amounted to approximately, I said 2019, sorry, it's 2020-2021. Total payments, you all see how much? $7.2 million. They borrowed $557.3 million and only spent $7.2 million on the people of this country. Show it to them now from the Prime Minister's address in Parliament. Part of his speech. This is directly from the Prime Minister's speech, folks, to Parliament. An income support initiative to provide financial relief to persons who lost their income. Zotkatan Guma. Zotkatan was executed by the government of St. Lucia jointly and the NIC. The income support program, which was implemented by the government, provided much needed financial support in the amount of 1,005 to just under 5,000 non-contributors to NIC. This was designed to cover $500 allowance for 3 months per individual and resulted in a total of how much? The same $7.2 million. The same $7.2 million, folks. You cannot tell me that in the name of the people of this country, you are borrowing money for COVID relief, for income replacement and income support, borrowed over $557.3 million and only spend $7 million on our people directly. You can take it down. You know, you can take it down. Now tell me, folks, doesn't that government have a conscience? Doesn't that government have a conscience? The World Bank says, come for the money. We will give it to you. But it is to support your poor people who have lost their income. You borrow $557.3 million. And not even the 7.3 you give 7.2. So Q asked me to ask Shasley a question, and I'm asking for Q. I'm asking for Q. Where did the $550.1 million go?
Did you feel that 550 odd million, whatever million dollars? Did you feel that? When Barbados was borrowing heavily under Frenwell Stewart, at the time, people were baking their lamb in milk. There were big, not little roads and back roads, major highways. People were bathing, rolling in money. And then what happened? Then it collapsed. With us, the government hasn't explained why you spend 4 years of doing sweet F all but taking care of yourself, and in the worst of times, you taking money that was meant for income support. Now, when they hear this argument, because all of them are batting on this wicket, the Beaufest man, Norbert Williams, right? Then you hear Champagne, wow, and all the rest of them, they say, what y'all want us to do? Give the people money? Give the people money? But when Shasney giving Cabot, when Shasney giving Ernst & Young, When Shastney giving direct awards all over the place to Fresh Start and all these companies, that's not giving the money? Oh, when it's corporate social welfare, it's not giving the money. But when you give the people the money, the fact of the matter is that anybody that understands basic economics, if you have, and I keep using the same example, a daily paid worker at CCC, Castries Constituencies Council, and that daily paid worker makes $1,000 a month. He cannot afford, he or she cannot afford to save. When you give them that money, they buy groceries, they pay their rent, they do whatever. The money comes right back to you in terms of your VAT and other income collecting. I mean, come on, simple. But you see, the point is that they've stolen so much of the money that now it is an affront to them now that after they took everything for themselves, now they're borrowing in the name of COVID. They're taking the money and they're doing election projects so that they can give their hack contractors to do the works, get the money back to buy your votes, and also pocket some, and the contractor gets to pad because he didn't have to tender, he gets his cut. So let's say they do a road and it's $5 million. The road really costs $1 million. They sell you, direct award. You get a direct award, $5 million. That is the solution. So you take that, right? The contractor gets his million. The minister will get his million or two. They'll have $1 million for the campaign, you see? And then you get a road with your own money that was meant to help your business start back. With your own money that was meant to put in the protocols for the schools or to have the oxygen at the right levels at the Victoria Hospital Respiratory Clinic. And you see, the question is it working? But in the meantime, the house slaves who know that they get direct contracts and they're getting it good, and if anything they're getting is because of preference, they know that people are suffering out there, that there's a dire need for unemployment benefits. There's a dire need for more stimulus or stimulus in the first place, because what they did there was what Shastney called stabilization. Even now, you're talking about vaccinations. Even if 26,000 St. Lucians get vaccinated, that's 1/6 of our population. The rest are not only vulnerable, but we still have the same problem because we've never stopped the problem. No second testing, and tourists are allowed to come here without second testing and wear no mask, walk around our nationals and go on tours, and Shastney says they're in a bubble. And all the time you sacrifice the funding that should be for IMF relief. The boat tours still going on by Shastney and Father Boats. The hotels are still being rented out by the state. Oh yeah, Coco Palm, the government is paying that. So all the time you suffering, they're telling you now, so they want to give them money. So here's the question. Guy Joseph doesn't get his salary paid. Sarah Flood doesn't get her salary paid on time. Where does that money come from? Oh, it comes from the consolidated fund. Who pays into the consolidated fund? Not you. So imagine people who want to make you feel embarrassed in a time of need, not in a time where you are mendicant or you're beggar, but you cannot even hustle. Not even Tomados, who's a UWP supporter, can go and ply his own trade as a self-employed guy to go and sell around Castries. He cannot do it. He cannot do it. Now he has to do it without a trolley. So he cannot hustle. But even as he cannot hustle, you will not give him any income support. You will not give him any relief. And then you'll tell him that he should be, like, you know, as if, you know, it's like we fostering a beggar mentality.
Let me make a comment.
They would not open it.
To both yourself and Brother Peter about, forget Labour Party. Just concentrate on the analogy which I'm going to present to the nation today. Running a government, despite all what they said about the Prime Minister, is like running a business.
Yes.
If you're taking in millions and millions of dollars every day from taxpayers and put into the treasury to run a country, that makes it a business because you have to remain accountable.
That's right.
When you receive people's money, you have to say what you're going to do with it.
Where would we be if the Prime Minister, who is a visionary individual, and I could say that very clearly, take the money according to the SLP, borrow the money for the airport. That money has already been borrowed. So take it, forget about that loan because you have to pay back that loan and give it to the people because of the corona. So corona last year, and let's say it goes away at the end of this year, so you're talking about almost a year and a half. We have to now go to borrow another set of money now because the money you gave away is all finished. No achievements because the money was given away.
They're just proving to you they can't manage. That is why they left the country in such a mess. That is why they left it in such a mess, Champagne. They cannot manage.
Can you believe? No construction of any new roads. Take the money, give it away to people, so everybody is on a merry. This one going to do their nails, that one do their hair, someone buy an old vehicle, and the money is gone. But the country now still has to pay that loan. And
the real poor people are poorer because the middle income people have nothing to give them. And they're still trying to use the strategy that is labor, new labor, of giving people money. Give people, of course, if anybody get money freeness, that is why so many people play the lotto. Take a chance. St. Lucians love the word chance and pour chance. So when you say give the people the money, you're exciting them right away as if somehow Alan Chasney is owing them or the government is owing them. Somebody has some freeness money for them.
So can I interject? How long will that money be given? For what period of time? Because at some point that money will run out. Well, even if you were to go that way to give the people the money, where will you continue to get that money to be given out to people?
I said to them, the Labour Party wants to give St. Lucian money. Okay, how long that they can give money? And where
but Caller, the first thing I said is you have to have the money to give it. So because Prime Minister Alan Chasney was able to raise money, then they are saying, but they don't realize if there's no Prime Minister Alan Chasney to raise the money for them.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was saying, Mr. Minister, you must have money to give money. Now, when you give money, money will finish because people will spend it.
And here's the thing.
But once you spend in more than you earn in, it must finish.
That is what I was about to say. How much money can you give? How much? How much?
Exactly. How much can you give and how long can you continue?
And how long can you continue to give
that
amount?
Caller, you see, that is where the problem with the economics of the Labour Party does not work. So when you give people money, you can only give a certain number of people money. You cannot give everybody money.
So this government borrowed $500 million, but Guy Joseph used the $300 million in that example because they hadn't borrowed the other 200 yet. If you borrowed $300 million to give, you borrowed, here's the best part, all the loans are in the name of COVID. They're all in the name of COVID. And Nancy, I have all the clips, and in fact, like I said, let Richard do his thing, I'll do it when the time comes.
Here's the point.
The point is that you have right now, let's say you had $300 million. You divide that by 170,000 people, every man, woman, and child on the island, you get $1,764, right? Guy Joseph will tell you it's $4.80 a day. But that's exactly the point. Nobody was saying $4.60-something a day if you were giving people for a year. But the point was stimulus is not